Hello there and welcome. Thanks for watching. I am Anna Wild, the Birth Whisperer and creator of the Loving Heart Gentle Birth e-course and your guide towards a better next birth. It is my deepest wish that you recover your birthing confidence and can birth again feeling safe, supported and happy. So please note, I am totally happy to share the knowledge that has helped me and countless other mamas to have good births. However, I don't have the right answers for everybody. Please take what feels intuitively helpful for you. Don't just believe me. Test things out, be open, and explore what makes a better birth for you. Follow your own guidance and, above all, be kind to yourself. So, one of the biggest fears for women who have had a previous difficult birth is the fear of the pain. Often a hard or long or traumatic birth can leave you with memories of really hardcore pain. The physical pain may dissipate, but the memory of the pain remains. And then when you get pregnant again, the fear of dealing with that much pain is really terrifying. But regardless of how you'll give birth, whether it's a natural birth or whether you'll have an epidural or a cesarean section, there is a really good chance that at some point there will be some level of discomfort or pain. So the question really is, how can you reduce pain and increase comfort levels? And possibly even more importantly is, how can you stop being scared of the pain? Because regardless of whether it hurts on the day or not, feeling scared is not going to help you now or during the birth. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 clues about pain and comfort in birth and how to have more comfort and less pain. I've called them clues because, like always, I just want you to explore them. Don't take them as fact. Watch the video, practice and test the ideas out for yourself. Before I get into the 5 clues, I want to talk about 2 aspects of pain. There's the physical experience and then there's the mental and emotional response. And I really love this beautiful old Buddhist teaching called the arrow, which explores the best way to relate to unpleasant feelings like pain. When you feel physical pain, it's a little bit like being shot by a single arrow. It really hurts. But then almost immediately we start to mentally lament about our pain and say things inside our mind about how bad it hurts and I can't bear it and why did this happen to me, and all sorts of mental thoughts. We actually get lost in this churning story, a complex story about being shot by the arrow. And as we do this, we heap more pain on top of the original pain. So it's almost like our response to being shot by one arrow is to shoot ourselves mentally and emotionally with another arrow. And we can summarize this story with a really great quote from Haruki Murakami, who said, "Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional." And in regards, I'd really prefer to say, pain is possible, but suffering is optional. So, what happens if you take that mental and emotional suffering out of the birthing picture? I just want you to imagine that you could attach a loudspeaker to your thoughts during labour. If suffering is present, the thoughts would sound like this. Oh my God, this really hurts. This is bad. This is really bad. This is the worst pain I have ever experienced. Oh, stop. I don't think I can do it. Oh, my mother always said giving birth was the worst thing she'd ever experienced, and she was so right. This is horrible. I can't stand it. Why did I get pregnant? I need drugs. I need surgery. I want to stop now. My body can't do this. Jeez, I'm only 4 centimeters open. That means I must have hours to go. I'm not going to make it. If this contraction is this bad, then the next ones are only going to get worse. Contrastingly, if we remove the suffering and attach a loudspeaker to our thoughts, it might sound a little bit more like this. Oh, this is a really big one. This is really strong. It's so intense. Breathe. Soften. That's right, relax. Feel heavy, let it go. I can do this. Oh, this is really strong. This is crazy strong. It hurts, but I can breathe. I can relax. Just soften. I'm safe. I'm held. I'm supported. Oh, it's coming to an end. That one's over. I don't need to do it again. Oh, it's gone. I can just relax a bit more. I can let it go. It's gone. I can smile. I can do it. I can do it. If I've done that one, I can do another one. I'm just going to take them one at a time. Oh, wow, that was intense, but I can just breathe. I can soften my body, my face, my pelvis, relax my legs. Just breathe, relax. You get the idea. Yes, there will probably, but not necessarily, be intense, overwhelming, and painful moments in your birth, but you can decide to take the suffering out of the picture. You can return to the calm mind over and over again, rather than getting enmeshed and stuck in the suffering mind. And this takes practice, like daily practice. I really encourage you to find some sort of practice that allows you to return to calmness, to return to your breathing, to return to center. And this practice may look different for you than someone else. For one person, it will be a meditation practice or mindfulness. For another person, it will be really concentrated prayer. For another person, it might be yoga. All of these practices are really good ways to alter your response to pain. And remember, it's okay if fear does arise before or during labor, because fear is totally normal, but you don't want fear to rule the roost and dictate your thoughts and responses to birth. Letting fear be the boss can lead to a downward spiral of less confidence, more doubt, and increasing fear. So please use the ideas in this post to make your confidence bigger than the fear. Prepare your mind and your body to boost calmness, increase comfort, so you can hold the fear with kindness, with confidence. So let's move on to the 5 clues that I want you to think about and explore about increasing comfort and reducing pain. The first thing I want you to remember is there is a huge spectrum of women's experience of birth and pain. And some women experience absolutely no pain. I've known at least a couple of women personally, and many more from stories and things that other people have told me, who have experienced no pain. So one woman told me that she was almost fully open, like 8 or 9 centimeters open, and just about ready to push her baby out. And before she realized that she was actually in labor, in fact, she thought she'd just eaten too much pizza for dinner. And another friend of mine just said it wasn't painful. It wasn't a painful birth at all. And maybe you're thinking, I'm guessing that maybe you're thinking, oh, that's just their physiology. They're just lucky, but it won't be like that for me. Maybe, but maybe not. And then think that some people actually describe their births as pleasurable or having moments of bliss or calm. Many women do experience discomfort or pain, but they feel like they managed really well. They coped really well. And I'm giving you all these examples to invite you to imagine that that spectrum of birth experience and pain may be far broader than what you've thought possible before now, or what your previous birth has led you to believe. And I want to invite you to imagine that your next experience might be somewhere else on the spectrum of experience. It might be in the more comfortable zone of birth, or in the manageable zone, or just simply coping well. And that it doesn't have to be a miserable, torturous nightmare again. In fact, that's not really likely that it's going to repeat itself. And it really leads into the next point, which is just because it was painful last time, imagine that it doesn't have to be like that this time, that it could be different. And certainly many things will be different because your body is different. The physical experience will be different. Your baby is not the same baby. Your body has changed. Inevitably, your preparation will be different for this birth. It's really unlikely that it will be the same, and there's a good chance that your birth will get better. Also, because of your experience last time, you're probably already thinking different thoughts and willing to make different choices to stack the deck in your favor of a better birth. For example, you may educate yourself differently. You may choose a different care provider. You may choose to give birth in a different place. You may explore different comfortable birthing positions. You may move around more. You might spend time in the water, in the shower, or in a birth pool. And you may choose, and I highly encourage you to do this, to choose support people who make you feel safer and more supported and therefore more relaxed. And with this preparation and background, your physical experience of birth will be different. Mentally, you'll feel different. Physically, you'll feel different. And your birth is really likely to be a totally different story. So I'm just going to read a story from one of my clients who was in one of my hypnobirthing classes about her third birth experience. She said, after 2 previous births some years ago that were both instrumental and required constant fetal heart monitoring, both requiring epidurals as my contractions weren't even progressing and the cervix wasn't opening, finally she needed forceps and then ventouse for her other birth. She was naturally a bit anxious about her third birth. And she says, but with the knowledge and practical skills that I learned, we had an incredible third birthing experience. My waters broke the day before on the Sunday morning, but I didn't go into labour straight away and was booked in for an induction and antibiotics the next morning if labour hadn't started. But luckily, my baby had other ideas. We stayed at home until 6 in the morning on Monday, and then once I was in established labour, my midwife met us at the hospital and we got into the birth pool. My baby was born underwater at 10:30 a.m. and it was an incredible experience. I had no drugs or pain relief, and my midwife said she was just amazed at how my breathing helped me to relax and get through the contractions, and then finally breathe my baby down. So I had my amazing peaceful birth. My husband was really overwhelmed and blown away at how different the whole experience was. We were both quite overcome with emotion at the end. Amazingly, both my previous babies were 7 pounds and this baby was 9.5 pounds. There was absolutely no fetal distress and I only needed to be monitored periodically. I was so energized and elated afterwards. We left the hospital feeling pretty good overall by 2 p.m. and managed to get home in time to meet the big kids after school and introduce them to their new sister. So the third clue that I want to offer you is that the fear of the pain, the fear itself, can flood the body with stress hormones, contract the muscles, and can make the pain worse. Because fear equals tightening and holding on and anxiety. And birth always works best, regardless of how you give birth, when you're feeling relaxed. So first of all, deal with the fear. Do some investigation. Like right now, ask yourself, what aspect of the pain am I feeling most scared of? Am I worried about losing it or failing to have the birth I want because I just can't cope? Or am I scared of the fear of pushing? With curiosity and kindness, I invite you to explore the root of your fear. Maybe there's a memory or a story or an experience that you connect with the fear of the pain. Often, in my experience of working with myself and my difficult experiences in life, and also with all of my clients who've had difficult births, usually there is a moment in which the pain was so bad or the story was so scary that you felt, and at the same time, you felt alone and terrified. And this is the moment that really calls for your loving attention. And you might use your imagination or your journal or you might talk to a loving friend or a therapist, and you can heal and transform the pain and the fear that is attached to the person, the younger you, who is still in a way lost in that memory. Often all you need to do is simply imagine giving the younger you who's in that memory what she needed but didn't get at the time. Your fear can be stuck in the memory, but luckily memories are really malleable and transformable, and you can't change what actually happened, but you can really play around with the memory. And therapies like EFT, tapping, kinesiology, NLP, EMDR can all really help for healing memories. And if you've got any questions, just flick me an email. I'm always happy to help. Or if you'd like a session with me, again, I'm totally here for you. The fourth point that I want to cover is that pain is only present sometimes during labour. In almost all labours, the contractions will come and go. And usually, but not always, the contractions are the bits that women find most uncomfortable and feel most scared about. I want you to keep in mind that in the average labour, and this is a first labour, which tend to be longer than second or third labours, in the average labour, a woman will have about 300 contractions. And this is over many, many hours, 8 or 10 or 12 hours. And so there are big spaces between the contractions. The space between the contractions is longer than the contractions themselves. Usually, not always, but most of the time, especially in early labour, there can be big spaces between the contractions. It's really important to remember that the spaces between the contractions, you can use them for mentally freaking out and worrying about the one that's come before and what's still to come, or you can use those spaces to relax, to calm down, as I said, to smile, to re-establish your equilibrium. Please don't use the space between the contractions to worry and to get anxious and more fearful. That's not what that time is for. And also at the end of each contraction, to remind yourself, oh, that one is done, it's gone. You can sigh it out. At the end of each one, let that one go. And you don't have to do that one again. Just remember, it's only one contraction at a time. Birth is not usually, it's actually rarely painful all the time, so rare. Usually it's just a wave of intensity and then a space of calmness. A wave of intensity and a space of calmness. Please use the spaces. And finally, the last clue to having less pain and more comfort is to prepare your body. A lot of this post has already been about preparing your mind, but it's also really important to prepare your body to increase comfort and to reduce pain. There's a wonderful woman, Gail Tully, who has an amazing website called Spinning Babies that I really encourage you to check out. It's about supporting your body to help your baby to get into a position that's optimal for birth and to make birth more easy, because your body can be more aligned, the structures, the muscles, and your whole body can be more open for birth. Yeah, check out some of the resources on Spinning Babies because that's so helpful. But what I want to share right now is that Gail Tully says an opening cervix and opening pelvis can cause pressure, even pain, but suffering is not expected. When the body is free from tension and torsion, the body can do what it needs to do with ease and comfort. Additionally, as well as checking out Spinning Babies and maybe attending a yoga class, you might like to visit an osteopath or a chiropractor, especially in the latter part of your pregnancy, some of these body workers are really skilled in just making sure that that your body is in the most balanced and open state for giving birth. So before I go, I'm going to leave you with one more quote from Maya Angelou, and she says that history, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Instead of history, I want to insert a difficult past birth, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but faced with courage, need not be lived again. Thank you so much for watching. If you've been inspired, then please share, because your voice supports respectful, positive childbirth for all mothers and babies everywhere. Make a comment, send this link to your friends, post on Facebook, and sign up for more birth wisdom and a really cool ebook that I've written, or e-booklet, about the 7 secrets of a better next birth at thebirthwhisperer.com.